Welcome back to the channel, you big machinery and big gun enjoyers. This is Spruce and Studs, and I'm really excited to review this action figure, well, if you can even call it an action figure, of this Blood Angels Predator Annihilator. I'll be honest with you all, the Predator is definitely one of the most anticipated releases for me for this year. I remember as a teenager, the Castaferum Dreadnought was the first figure that I actually got for Warhammer 40K tabletop, but I was still eyeing the Predator Annihilator, and it so happens that the Predator Annihilator was the second figure that I actually bought. So there is some massive nostalgia rooted in this review. However, that's enough of me prattling, so let's get to it. I just wanted to interrupt, well, myself, to let you know about a big channel supporter by the name of David Toys. Just click in the link in the description below, or you will be brought to their website. David Toys is a fantastic website to get all of these Warhammer 40K and Horus Heresy action figures. One of the reasons why I use David Toys so much is because of their tremendous customer service. A couple of months back, I had ordered a Space Marine action figure, and unfortunately, that particular figure was missing a piece from the backpack. I contacted the customer service over at David Toys, and they were most happy to replace that part for me. So that just goes to show you their level of customer service and care. And please make sure to use my affiliate code SNS to receive 12% off of your purchase, because we know that these plastic crack figures are very expensive. And so without further ado, let's get right back into it.
Where to begin on this massive, beautiful piece of machinery? Well, it would only make sense to start in the turret section. Right off the bat, I appreciate the extraordinary levels of shading that JoyToy has put into this tank. I would have to say that without the shading, this would look like the most bland red blob that JoyToy and or GW has ever produced. So the shading is predominantly found in the armor panel junctions, as well as the numerous vent areas. Not only is shading applied, there's actually delicious battle damage, which can be found too. You can tell this battle damage or highlighting can be found on the highest points of the armor plates, such as over here, as well as over here. And all of this stuff is gratuitously applied all over the chassis of the tank, which is fantastic. I absolutely love the application of the metallic blue for this viewfinder. Then as you move on to the twin-linked las cannons, the level of detail is unparalleled too. The focusing rings over here has some nice gunmetal highlights, and you can see the beautiful transition from the dark gunmetal to light and then back to dark gunmetal again. These flash suppressors also have some nice highlighting as well. The battery packs are a solid gunmetal, and then the radar that goes on the turret also follows suit with the same gunmetal color. I kind of wish that they would have changed the color of the radar a little bit to maybe a lighter color to give it some differentiation, but that's just my personal preference. I also am sure that most of you will find that I'm being too critical, and well, you are not wrong. Moving on to the hatch section, I again appreciate the usage of metallic blue for these viewfinder screens, which adds a touch of realism. Then on the top, there is beautiful shading and weathering that can be found. What's also nice is that JoyToy fleshed out the bottom of the hatch by giving it some character right here. So this is the plate that goes on top of the tank chassis, and this is where the turret goes, just to let you know what's going on. Then at the front of the tank are these two detachable hatches that follow the same aesthetic as the rest of the tank. One thing that I will pick on is that this driver's viewfinder is crooked, and I hope that if you pick up yours that this will not be the case for you. Then you can actually flip the hatches over, and then you are greeted by some dark gunmetal that weirdly makes these things look like sewer hatches. This tank also comes with the inclusion of 3 cargo crates. All 3 of them have the Imperium's double Aquila on it. Maybe I kind of wish that the Aquila was a different color, because all this gunmetal becomes a little bit monotonous. Now these side sponson las cannons are near painting perfection. This is exactly how I would and I did paint my own sponsons. Again, I love the shading at the edges of the armor panels, the stark contrast of the skull and crossbones, as well as the dark gunmetal, black and lighter gunmetal parts are absolutely perfect. And let's get a closer look of the back of the side sponsons, which is completely glorious. I really wish that JoyToy would do away with matte colors for scope lenses as well as plasma coils, because matte is not exactly how these areas are supposed to look. This area where the turret gunner is supposed to stand, the level of detail is pretty insane because you can see the turret moving pedals down here. These pulls are made out of metal. Finally, these targeting array screens are a nice metallic blue. The only thing that I'm going to say that may need some improvement is the smokestacks for the engine. I guess I would have appreciated a little bit more smog in the color of brown in this area. Otherwise, you know what? Again, nitpicking, cannot ask for more. Now let's dive into the interior and I will do my best to showcase it for you. So as you can see, the whole entire cargo section is a complete dark gunmetal, which is appropriate. However, one of the things that is very interesting to me is this instrument panel over here. Most of us who paint the minis have to ponder the question whether we paint this area because it immediately gets covered up. But JoyToy thankfully decided to paint this region and give it some character. So as you can tell on this right-hand side, there is a wall full of instruments and panels, which is insane. I love the detail with all the blue, greens, and reds that can be found. Then you obviously have this driver's seat over here. And finally, you've got a nice driver's instrument panel complete with a monitor, steering wheel, and this other lever too. If you are enjoying this review, please make sure to smash that subscribe button, because you know what? The nice thing about subscribing on YouTube, it's for free. And who wouldn't want their feed to be inundated with Warhammer 40K as well as Horus Heresy action figure reviews? And that's exactly what this channel specializes in. I bet you all are probably demanding, Sprues, why the hell are you not putting this tank together? Well, people, the time is now. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach the side sponson tops. And this is done by aligning this hole over to these pegs right here. It's very simple, very easy. It just slots right in. There is a horizontal bar in the middle of the side sponson las cannon that clips onto here, and it should attach with a satisfying click. Let's move on to assembling the top part of this Predator. So this attachment right here just clips in here. These hatches can be directly placed in, and then hatch number 2. This gunner's cockpit can just be dropped directly inside, like so, but I'm actually going to just leave it out. Focusing in on the battery pack, it attaches to the turret with the slot mechanism here. Just slot it in. You can then place the hatch on top, attach this radar dish onto the peg, and then mount this area here. So now that the tank is fully assembled, let's talk about the aesthetics a little bit more. I kind of wish that the spotlights over here were metallic yellow. This banner has obviously the anglers that is screened on. Again, I would have appreciated it if it was engraved in. And I think the level of shading on this double claw with the skull is absolutely fantastic, along with the shading on the hull of the chassis. The tank treads on the bottom of the tank is an absolutely gorgeous dark gunmetal. And the back of the tank is a monochrome red, which is appropriate. And now let's talk about movement for this tank. The radar can be moved 360 degrees about this axis on the bottom over here. This hatch right here can also be moved around 360 degrees with absolutely no inhibition of motion. I just lifted it up because it makes a grinding sound. And these hatches actually do open right here, which is a really nice element where you can have the gunner pop up from the turret. The turret also has 360 degrees of motion. I am actually lifting this turret up just to kind of show you the degree of motion. You would hear a lot of grinding sounds if it wasn't. One thing I'm going to say about the attachment point of this turret to the chassis of the Predator is that it is fairly snug, and you need to actually put a little bit of force to get this thing to move. So it's nice that it's very snug. The twin link las cannon turrets can be pushed up at this maximum angle and then pushed down to this angle. The side sponsons have a full 180 degrees of rotation, and I love it how the viewfinder pivots with the front of the las cannon. While we are on the topic of the side sponson, you can actually pull it out via this hinge,
like so. And this is also the case for the other side. There's a hinge on the bottom right here where you can pull out the cargo ramp, like I'm showing you right now. And it actually opens up quite wide. You can also lift this windscreen up. You can pull this front chassis completely down, revealing the cockpit. The driver's monitor can be pulled down right here with a nice squeak. The steering bar or the steering column, whatever you want to call it, can be actually rotated 360 degrees, but I'm not sure exactly why you would want to do that. This lever right here can also be moved up and down. And this lever right now can also be moved back and forth, along with the other one out to the side. Oh, also of note, these cargo crates, you can lift the lid up. You can also lift the lid up of this battery pack right here. Okay, now that we have this beauty assembled, let's figure out how big it is. So it looks like from track to track, it is 16 inches long. From track to turret, it is about 9.5 inches tall. I know you really can't see this, but the width from side sponson to side sponson is roughly 14 inches. And so now let's get to some relative size comparisons. How can you have a Blood Angels vehicle without a accompanying V3 Blood Angels intercessor? Next we have Lieutenant Titus standing on the right hand side that represents a version 4 figure. Next we have a redesigned Primaris Terminator with his teleport homer. Here is a comparison of the Predator to some choice Primarchs. And how can we talk about a vehicle without comparing other vehicles? Starting off with the bike, and next an Ultramarines Castaferum Dreadnought, and finally the big boy Redemptor Dreadnought. And let's do this pose again with the Dreadnoughts in the back. So the Castaferum is peeking out in the back, and then you still have the Redemptor quite visible above the top of the Predator. All right, now is likely my favorite part of the video, where we figure out how many Space Marines we can stuff inside of this chassis. Now, per the 10th edition rule set, we're supposed to get 12 Marines inside of this thing. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think IRL 12 of these guys are actually going to fit, but let's find out. So for this part of the video, we are going to be using a variety of Space Marines, including Ultramarines, Salamander, and a Raven Guard. So let's get to stuffing. And of course, it would be appropriate to have a Blood Angel be the driver. As you can see, he looks pretty snug in there. And now let's stuff a Salamander in there. So as you can see, the Salamander's head makes this hatch pop up, which I'm going to have to make sure that this guy ducks down. And there you go, he's leaning back like a gangsta. Okay, let's see how many we can stuff in the back. I think that every single one of these Space Marines probably has to do some sort of like ducking motion to actually fit in there. So right now we are at 3. Mr. Raven Guard would be number 4. This would be number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. All right, I think we're max capacity over here in the cargo bay. Maybe I can put this guy in between all the other brothers, and that's number 9. I'm thinking that I could probably stuff a Marine up here too, so let's try to do that. I don't know if this actually constitutes of fitting. So let's close all the doors and all the exits and make sure every single one of these Marines are able to fit within the confines of this Predator. Let's see if I can get number 10 in. And it looks like you can actually fit 10 of these guys in here. Now that 10 are stuffed inside, I suppose that you can have a total of 11. So now you can actually get 11 version 1 through version 3 Space Marines that can actually fit into this Predator chassis. All right, if you couldn't tell during the review, I absolutely love this Predator. Yes, there might have been some nitpicky things, but in all honesty, those things absolutely melt away in the sheer magnitude and awesomeness of this tank. I will let you know, when I was busting open the box that contained this tank, I was literally grinning from ear to ear as if I was transported back in the late 90s, where the love of Warhammer for me came into being. Again, despite me being critical of a few parts, I can honestly say that this figure is near perfect and lived up completely to all of my expectations. The shading and the battle damage is Chef's Kiss Supreme. The las cannons look beefy and poignant, and all of the play elements really give some life to this figure. I admit I may be looking at this model with rose-tinted glasses, but I cannot believe that we have a piece of equipment this big and so faithful to the Mini. So it is beyond a shadow of a doubt that I 100% recommend you to get this action figure, if you can even call it that. All right, chapter members, let me know what your thoughts are on this Predator. Was there something that jumped out at you when I was reviewing it? Is this monstrosity something that you plan to get? Either way, let me know in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching this review video. I am ever thankful for your likes, comments, subscribes, shares, as well as hypes. Without you, this channel would absolutely be nothing, and I have you all to thank for it. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next one.